Dan, ¿lo oíste?
Dímelo.
¿Oíste el halftime show? ¿Lo viste y lo oíste?
Sí, los blancos están enojados.
Enojados, están un poquito traicionados, creo, porque en el juego más americano, en el juego más de ¿cómo lo puedo decir?
Americano.
Americano,
Ya
lo más
dijiste.
de ellos, lo más de ellos.
Ajá.
Voy a hacer eso. Lo más de ellos. Y tenemos el representante de nosotros. No es cubano, pero puertorriqueño, pero aquí somos primos.
El conejo malo.
El conejo malo, el Bad Bunny. Babo.
Qué locura.
Sí,
Es
no,
cierto.
fue un escándalo. Yo estaba ahí en el party mío, en la casa de mi hermano.
¿Cómo va esto?
La gente está enojada, Dan. Estamos haciendo el show entero en español.
No,
Y
entero
están,
no.
y están,
No,
y están.
no,
No,
entero.
no le gustan eso. Yo puedo hacer los primeros 30 minutos hablando del set de Bad Bunny.
Un arroz con mango.
Lady Gaga era...
No, eso, no.
¿Qué?
¿Qué pinta Lady Gaga ahí?
No pinta
No puede,
nada.
no puede hablar español.
No.
No puede bailar. ¿Qué fue esto? ¿Qué fue? Mírame. ¿Qué fue esto? De las manos ahí. No puede bailar salsa. No puede bailar merengue. No puede bailar bachata. No puede bailar en algo absoluto.
¿Por qué estuvo ahí ella?
¿Por qué estuvo ahí? Ay, no sé. Porque veo a Ricky Martin, que puede hablar español. Veo a Bad Bunny. Veo los cantantes, los bailadores. Ok. Y Lady Gaga se aparece ahí. Así que no sé. Pero fue el halftime show más mejor del siglo.
Del siglo.
Del siglo. Ok, del siglo. Más mejor del siglo.
Mejor
Y-
que Prince, mejor
Olvídate
que
de Prince.
J-Lo y
Oh,
Shakira.
Y él estaba ahí. Bad Bunny estaba ahí. Pero fue más mejor que... Porque J-Lo no puede cantar. No puede cantar.
Es cierto.
Shakira sí. Y se pueden mover las caderas. Ok. Todo el mundo estaba bien happy con eso. Pero. Bad Bunny hizo algo que fue tan latino que la gente no pueden imaginar qué pasó. Porque lo ven, ¿no? Y no se en el mente de ellos no lo pueden fijar. Bailando, perreo, todo. Tengo setlist aquí. Titi me preguntó, banger. Yo perreo sola. Psh, palo, zafaera, party. Voy a llevarte para PR. EO, Mónaco. ¿Qué más? Ese estaba buenísimo.
Hizo Nueva York también.
Nueva York también. Baile inolvidable. Lo que pasó en Hawái, que fue, para mí, yo estaba mirando eso. Nunca yo creía que él fue a hacer la canción esa con Ricky Martin. Porque eso está un poquito más... Vamos a hablar de conspiracy theories, de que quiere hablar de Hawái. Huh.
That's what I'm saying.
Papi. El apagón, que estaba encendido, café con ron. Y la cosa que no me gustó, la última cosa que voy a decir.
¿No te gustó algo?
No, sí, es que debí tirar más fotos. La canción del más notable, ¿ok?
¿Cómo se dice start the show?
Y lo cantó ya yendo para el locker room.
Dilo en español. Dilo en español.
¿Cómo se dice start the show?
No puede decir, empieza el show. Coño, estamos mal.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. say? Football is back, Jack. This high and wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
I still think the Rams are better. It's hard to make that argument today, though. The Seahawks won 10 straight to end the season, 7 by 10 or more points. They trailed for all of 95 seconds in the playoffs. They turned Drake May. They put the punctuation on Drake May. Congratulations. Worst postseason run by a quarterback ever. No dispute. C.J. Stroud was in these playoffs, and he wasn't this bad because he didn't get to win the games that made him this bad. Like, that is as bad as Drake May. I got to think he's hurt. Like, that's part defense and that's part pressure with 4, but when he's saying that he's getting a shot before the game, I didn't even recognize that Drake May on very simple passes.
It's funny how that works, though, right? Because if Drake May would have lost in the first game of the postseason, be less criticized than losing in the Super Bowl.
Stafford in 3 games against the Seahawks, 961 yards, 8 touchdowns, no turnovers, 111 quarterback rating. And no one else could do anything against the Seahawks defense. They'll go down as an all-time defense. I would have given the MVP to a defender of some sort. Couldn't select one because there were so many, so just give it to the punter.
You didn't consider Jason Myers?
I would just give it to the punter. Why not just give it? Why not 3 punts inside the 6-yard line? 3 of them inside the 6 in that game. Kenneth Walker, okay, Kenneth Walker's dad had never before been to one of his son's games because he's afraid of crowds. Never been to a Michigan State game, never been to a Seahawks game. So the first game he goes to is his son winning Super Bowl MVP. That's nuts. That's nuts. That's crazy that he would be that afraid of crowds that he wouldn't brave any crowds. And then the one crowd he would brave. Listen to Kenneth Walker talking after the game, after winning MVP of the Super Bowl.
My dad, he comes out to Seattle all the time to watch games, but he never goes to the game because he don't like crowds. So this is his first NFL game, and, we won a Super Bowl, so it means a lot to me, and I know you're proud of me for real. You have to convince him, or just like I wasn't the one that convinced him, actually. My agent convinced him to come out here. So I didn't think he would come. They ended up miking him up and everything, so he got out of his comfort zone.
Would you guys have objected to making Michael Dixon, the punter, the MVP of the game?
Did have some good punts.
Had to be the kicker. I was thinking midway through, I'm like, Jason Myers, MVP.
I know, 5 for 5.
I think they nailed it. Kenneth Walker was awesome.
Yeah, like 10 yards
He
of carry.
was fantastic.
Michael Dixon was also the hold. He was the holder on
It was
some
kicker
of those,
before
those
punter,
bad,
Dan.
bad
Come on, you're
snaps.
talking crazy.
Coffin corner, man.
We will get to what I believe to be the single most Hispanic thing to ever appear for a sustained period of time on American television. I didn't understand why they inserted Lady Gaga into the middle of that, probably to make it slightly more palatable.
Palatable to who?
Well, come on now. You don't think
A lot of people at the party that I was at was like, what is she doing here?
Yeah. A lot of the conservatives watching were like, well, now it's okay. Famous ally, Lady Gaga.
Oh, I was so stressed out by this halftime performance. I was with 30
Why?
people.
Hold on, why?
My dad brought we had old white people, we had young Hispanic people. It was just like right away. We had
Really?
old white people being like, I don't know anything he's saying. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And then they got to walk back in to give us their thoughts.
All of your dad's friends talked like old-timey press people from the 1920s.
You should have seen my dad. My dad was the one. I liked it. My dad and all like, what? Like it was. My dad was trying to be an ally.
So last year, Kendrick Lamar bothered people with an aggressively black halftime show. Did Bad Bunny then trigger people with an aggressively brown halftime show. I've checked out on social media stuff, so I'm not looking for reactions.
People were
to that.
unhappy, Dan.
So they were unhappy by the same thing they were predicting, right? Kid Rock and all the fragile, anxious white people who were performing their alternate halftime show were doing so because they were afraid of the fact that it's not just that Bad Bunny went Hispanic. Look, that was a celebration of culture. It also did what best art does, okay? Because it moved people. If you care about heritage at all, that thing is the most Hispanic thing I've ever seen on American television. And he went with his most Hispanic songs. It's not even, he's so good that he doesn't even have to play some of his classics to reach over. He's like, no, I'm going all Latin, heavy Latin, and you want something not Latin? Here's Lady Gaga.
Do any of his songs have any English in them?
There's songs that he's collaborated with that have English in them.
But, like, is he
Selfie.
singing
Say
English?
cheese.
No, very, very rare. Very rare.
So what was the reaction? Please tell me. I don't know. So the reaction was exactly what the predicted reaction was?
What demo are you talking about?
There
here?
is a song
Different
where,
reactions.
There is a song where Booker T says, "Can you dig it, sucker?"
It's called Booker T, by the way.
That's right.
Is it popular? Was it popular?
Yes,
was it
of course.
Was it polarizing?
Yes, of course. It was
And
all those
popular?
things. 100%.
Yes,
It was
yes.
everything to everybody. I know for at least Miami, this was the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time.
I mean, I saw dudes putting out videos on social media. They're crying, just how much pride they felt. You know, like yeah, the people who loved it really loved it, and the people who you knew were not going to like it, you know, made up reasons why they didn't like it. But it's all so transparent.
All right. This required almost 10,000 theatrical pyrotechnics. It had 400 costumed extras. The walking trees, the dancing trees,
Good touch.
were paid $19 an hour for 70 hours of work. So they the trees all made $1,300 for the rehearsals and everything on game day, according to Darren Ravel. So he went, it's not just the dominoes, the guayaberas, it's not the cane fields, it's that all of it has never been seen before on mainstream American television. What are the most Hispanic things to ever appear on mainstream American television? Does Sábado Gigante count, given that it wasn't it was on Spanish television in America, but it's not on one of the networks. It's not being watched by this many people.
Well, it is on one of the networks. It's just a Spanish language
No,
network.
I'm saying one of the big networks.
You're saying
Well,
one
I
of the
mean,
legacy ones.
One of the legacy mainstream networks.
You mean like the English-speaking ones?
The Big Four.
Yeah, because Univision and Telemundo are also network television.
Yes, I'm saying the English-speaking ones because that event yesterday was an English-speaking event, and they stopped in the middle of it to go to a totally different language, and it's what people are upset about.
Yeah, I can imagine like, hey, we're bringing this, Russian guy over, and all of a sudden it's all Russian. Everybody's like, what is he saying? I don't get it. But like, Spanish is kind of the second language of the United States, if you really think about it. Per capita, with the amount of people that speak Spanish in this country, it's the second most spoken language in the country. And it was just such a cool moment for just looking across the room at everybody. We were in a place that had 30 people in it, and like everybody was nodding their heads. Even people that didn't really listen to Bad Bunny were like, holy shit, wow. The production was insane. The costumes were insane. The dancing,
I was
casita.
in the middle of it. I commented to my wife. I'm like, "This is amazing camera work." Because like when they were up on the top of the platform there with the wedding going on, nobody bumped into anybody. Like the cameraman, it was incredible.
That was a real wedding, incidentally. That was two people got married during that ceremony. I actually had the anxious thought of really worrying for the people who had to splice in the video at exactly the right time that was clearly of him taped falling through a roof.
I was arguing. I said it was taped. Everyone was like, "That was live." I'm like, "You guys."
No,
don't
that's
know
where he would
production."
change clothes.
Thank you.
I think those are, but he's got a couple of seconds to do it, and I worried that a video team would screw up the timing of that. It seems like that's a lot of pressure for whoever has to make sure that video hits at exactly the right time.
100%. And it was not long enough for him to have a wardrobe change. That's what the Lady Gaga set was for him to be able to take the jersey off that he was wearing, put on the suit top. But Dan, even when he finishes that, he goes into what looks like a quinceañera or a wedding of some sort, and he's got the kids sleeping on the chairs in the big jacket. Like, that's our life. That's me as a 10-year-old kid at some wedding that I don't know the two people that my parents dragged me to, and I'm like, guys, it's 12:30 at night. I'm tired. I'm gonna lay down. They're like, that's our culture. That's Miami's culture. That's Hispanic culture. And like to see that displayed on the big screen, you're looking and you're like, wow, yes, okay, this is us.
Jewish boys fall asleep at bar mitzvahs too.
Oh yeah, that's ours too.
Cool.
Did a
I don't bring
tribute.
kids to wedding.
Did a tribute to
Mutual.
the 11-month blackout that Puerto Rico had, because I don't know if you think of this as a political statement, because I really did think of it as just celebration of heritage. But in these times, celebration of heritage is a political statement. One of those commercials. I don't know if it scared you guys as a dystopian commercial. They're not seeking dogs with whatever it is they're doing with your facial recognition there. Like, ICE would like that information. Like, that seemed dystopian.
Oh, that's
me
a
watching.
trick?
Oh my God, is that a trick?
My wife wanted me to download it.
Don't do it.
Oh
Hey,
my
do
God!
not
And you
do
got a
it.
big ass head.
I watched that and was like, you've got to be kidding me.
It was
that
all the
this
old
is-
white people being like, why are there light posts there? And then my Cuban sister-in-law has to be like, well, actually in Puerto Rico, and just in the middle of a performance, she's like explaining why there are light
Their
posts.
power grid is failing, and it has a lot to do. And the song is actually called El Apagón, which is the shut off. The lights turned off.
Yeah, the
basically.
blackout. And
Did you notice all the the cameos, the celebrities who were there dancing? I got news for you, man. In case there was Pedro Pascal and there was Cardi B.
Pablo, as I like to call him.
And I don't know if you caught it because it was really quick, but Jessica Alba. Yo, Dan, if you weren't aware of Jessica Alba, because she doesn't act anymore. Like she kind of she retired or whatever.
No, she runs a giant a giant cosmetics business that makes her a lot more money than she ever made from Hollywood.
Well, I don't know if you're aware because she doesn't act anymore. Jessica Alba still fine.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Update.
You know what he said?
Ronald Acuna was in the middle there. Who else was there? The Ricky Martin thing. Many of you probably aren't old enough to even remember that the previous moment I think of, which is just slapping America across the face with Hispanic, was really the breakout performance of Ricky Martin at the Grammys, where the electrical current of him doing the music was larger than all of the other music being performed live. It's sort of the last place I go to that felt like what it is that this was meant to feel like. But there was nothing controversial in this. This was simply a celebration of heritage. This was just simply a party. And if it's controversial, it can only be controversial to you because of the surrounding times around that stadium. It has nothing to do with the performance. The performance was benign. It was just doing what art is supposed to do.
Love over hate is controversial these days. Just to make that clear. That's what a lot of conservatives had an issue with, the messaging. Why are you calling out our hate?
And then, of course, there was, it's couldn't understand anything he was saying because I don't speak English. I got news for you. Like Kendrick Lamar last year, I didn't understand the words. He was,
Yeah, but they had the same complaints there. It's same reason,
right.
same stuff.
No,
It's
but
the
I can go
same
past
thing.
that. Like make it whatever rock band. You tell me you go to a rock band show and you understand all the lyrics that are being said during the song.
Okay, no, but some of them. But some of them, like I actually understand why people would object to that. I do. And it's just because you're closed-minded, you're entitled to be closed-minded. You have that freedom. But I understand if you made it, say, Russian or K-pop, and I didn't understand anything, it wouldn't summon cultural pride for me. But this is part of the nature of the divisions that are in front of you right now. That was an expensive show they put together.
It's music. I don't understand what anybody's saying. Like, Doobie Brothers are like the whitest band of all
That's
time.
what I'm saying.
That's Mike McDonald.
He made a cameo.
Champion.
He made a cameo pregame.
I'm in a hypothetical, if I'm just saying to you hypothetically, while I can say, sure, I don't understand a lot of the lyrics, there's not 100% guarantee before you start that I'm not going to understand any of the lyrics. Like, that's never so if they're in English. And if it's American, if I shouldn't even say American music, because Puerto Rico is obviously America Jack. But if it's Spanish, the starting point is you're excluding me. So I get why people might be threatened or fragile about that, but this man doesn't sing in English. Like his English, he's just learned some English, and it's not great. He struggles in English.
And on top of that, regardless of language, when you just pull out an act, like last year was what, Usher? I think
That was Kendrick Lamar.
It was Kendrick Lamar. Okay, but a couple years ago, there was like an Usher or like some other thing. If you don't like the band or you don't like the person, they're already excluding you. Right? Because if you're looking at it and be like, oh, I don't really like, if they would have taken Metallica, like, I'm not a Metallica fan. I'm not a rock fan.
It should have been Metallica. San Francisco, how was it not Metallica?
Okay, sure. Whatever.
Nothing against Bad Bunny, but how was it not Metallica?
Okay, so if it was Metallica, I would have checked out and been like, okay, they're excluding me. But I'm okay with that because I know I don't like that music. Okay, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to go turn a Hispanic halftime show around.
Zaslow is speaking to something here when he brings up Metallica. That Goodwill Duncan commercial hit because it was for old people, correct?
I liked it.
I know, but it's the same reason you want Metallica. There is a certain nostalgia. Was that considered the best of the commercials?
Benson Boone, Ben Stiller for me.
When people fall off of something and hit something, it's always funny. It's always funny.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, but especially when they're dressed kind of like the character from Dodgeball, like that. But yes, when people fall off something, is it always funny? Put that on the poll, and please, Lewis, do me the favor of getting that video of Ditka and Paul Hornung on stage when one of them falls off a stage because the other one slaps him on the back, and just put it in picture.
I thought we all liked finding dogs. What's wrong with that? It's a great service. You lose your dog, we find your puppy. Everybody's happy.
I can't believe I fell for the rope-a-dope there.
Really? You're surprised that you come from privilege?
My wife wanted me, like, we have Ring in my house. My wife wanted me to make sure I set the notification on.
Yeah, it's dystopian. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, they're this comfortable just doing it in plain view. This comfortable. They're wrapping it in lost dogs. Next move is going to be infants. If you lose your infant, they're just going to trick people into how it is they get your facial recognition.
Be glad that they told you, because it's actually been something that they've had access to for a while now.
Yeah, that's true too. Getting to the game for just a moment, okay? Because we had the conversation, Mike, this year about turnovers and is it recreatable, okay? And then Chicago caused more turnovers than any team in the sport this year, but they get to the playoffs, they cause 0 turnovers. Seattle all season, turnover machine. Sam Darnold led the league in turnovers. They go the entire postseason without a turnover. First Super Bowl team ever. First Super Bowl winning team ever to go an entire postseason without a single turnover. And obviously the game plan in that game, given you saw this early, right? Patriots weren't going to be able to do anything. Sam, just don't throw the game away. Like, if you could just not throw the game away, there's no circumstance under which Seattle will lose this football game.
Early on, it seemed like he was trying.
There was one pass early on, should have been a pick six.
Yeah, It's rare where you come away from a Super Bowl and you ask yourself, was that team any good? Yeah. That's how good the Seahawks were in this Super Bowl. I'm stunned that they were wire-to-wire dominant, and I'm really stunned at how bad Drake May looked. They were so far out of their depth. That was not a fair fight.
I think defensively what Seattle was able to do with just rushing 4 and getting home with 4 and dropping 7 in the back was just like, all right, you're going to force a guy with a bad shoulder to make really tight window throws, and it just wasn't happening.
Well, let me address a couple of things here, because we will talk about Mike Macdonald and make him a star, and we will talk about Sam Darnold and make him a star. But John Schneider has now won 2 championships with no holdover players and a different coach. I don't think people know the architect of this football team, and he's now done it twice with 2 totally different things. And when you mention the pressure with 4, this part was funny to me, Zaz. So before Bad Bunny and the halftime show, these poor people or rich people who are doing the halftime analysis have about 4 seconds to talk.
Oh, I
like
noticed too.
it reminds me of the ABC NBA halftime shows where it's like, get in and out. This is all about commercials. We're coming to all of you for 47 seconds total for all of you. And so somebody's analysis, I'm not making this up. So I guess it was McCourty. I wasn't really paying attention. But I just heard one person's analysis because they're just shooting around. Everybody, Garrett,
What do
all
you got?
guys, give it to me in 4 seconds. And the guy's analysis was just, Will Campbell is getting his butt kicked. And I felt so bad for Will Campbell's family.
It's hard for a nation at large to recognize bad O-line play.
He was getting his ass
He
whipped.
was getting his ass kicked from whistle to whistle. That was so bad.
Well, did you guys see the stats, though? He allowed 14 quarterback pressures. No offensive lineman has allowed that many all season. Like, that didn't happen one time. But for the analysis to be, hey, you got 3 seconds here. I'm going to say McCourty because I was just half listening, but all of his analysis was just simply and accurately, Will Campbell is getting his butt kicked.
There was a hilarious moment in that game. It was just after, the pinpoint accuracy parabola ball to Mac Hollins, right? And it looks like, okay, maybe New England figured this thing out. We have a backdoor opportunity. Give me some juice here. They're starting to move the ball, and Chris Collinsworth is like, yeah, all right. They're starting to find their rhythm. And then Drake May throws the worst interception possible, and it leaves Chris Collinsworth speechless to the point that he literally says,
Yep.
I've got nothing for you here.
Yep.
It was a bad throw. Getting back to the line play, though, that we don't talk about enough when these things happen, right? I don't think people understand how bad you have to be for everyone to notice that you're that bad. For example, Kenneth Walker had those good runs. Go ahead and tell me who had the good blocks on him. It's every offensive lineman's worst nightmare to have the game that Will Campbell had, where we're all noticing, oh my God, they're going to just cave in that side of the line all game. He's got no chance. He shouldn't be out there.
Yeah. I think Kenneth Walker had the type of performance where you actually, he stood out because of his patience. Whether it be, I know that there was one famous one highlighted where he did the Le'Veon Bell, and then he shoots a very tiny gap. But all those screens, that was all patience. He was waiting for his blocks to set up. Sometimes there wasn't much of a lane. That's why I think he was a worthy MVP. I thought he was dynamite.
Can you guys look up for me? I think Justin Tuck one time against the Eagles had 6 or 7 sacks in a game. And it's the last time I felt that way for an offensive lineman. I don't even remember who the offensive lineman was, but he was just totally ill-equipped. And I think Tuck had 6 or 7 sacks in a single game because they were never able to adjust to it, never able to fix it. To go an entire game or entire season that no offensive lineman has allowed that many quarterback pressures. And the worst part of it was that Drake May was unrecognizable because he got scared. That's what happened, and he should have been scared. He had no time. There were no answers. They couldn't leave enough people in. You can't go find Hunter Henry every time the way you did all season because Will Campbell was a turnstile. You cannot have 4 guys getting that much pressure when you've got 5 and 6 guys blocking them. That allows you only to send 4 receivers out into 7 people covering them.
He was spooked from the jump, right? Will Campbell, there was one play, and I think it was after halftime, where he gets a false start call on him. So he's got the start. Okay, he beats the defender out of his stance, and then he gets pushed so far that it knocks over Drake May on a false start, and it's dude, how do you cover 10 feet of ground just getting pushed like that? They were talking about on the broadcast that his issue is he gets pushed so badly that he knocks into the quarterback, and that's what happened in one of the sacks. I'm trying to think of who it was.
Yeah, it was right up the middle.
Right up the middle, big white guy, 92, literally just has Will Campbell in one hand, grabs Drake May with the other hand, and takes them both down. I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, that a lot of people are commenting today that McDaniels needs to get Will Campbell some help in that situation. You have to do something so that it doesn't, so that you have the number 1 defense in the league feeding like the sharks feel blood in the water, feeding because they know you've got They've got your quarterback scared.
Why else is Austin Hooper on the roster?
Throw a chip block, buddy.
It is rare for you to see somebody who was one vote away from winning the MVP look scared, and for you to understand, oh, of course he's scared. How could he not be scared? Nothing is working, and they look incompetent in the first half, and he knows good and well, just like Seattle does, just like everyone watching on television, just like Lady Gaga and Bad Bunny know, oh, Will Campbell can't block anybody here. They've got an offensive lineman there who might as well not be out there.
And the other thing, too, is you want to hit the quarterback early, right? And that's what we saw with Miami and Indiana, where they were roughing up Mendoza early to try to get him happy feet in the pocket early to have off-balance throws. And you saw that from Drake May. There was a pass that he threw to Hunter Henry that almost killed him, where he was way back on it. Pop Douglas had a back shoulder throw that he was late on. So he wasn't setting his feet. He had happy feet in the pocket trying to make something happen, knowing that with 4 guys, he's getting pressure. And it's like, what do I do here?
I haven't had this feeling watching a Super Bowl in a long time, which is like, what the hell are they doing here? And the last time I felt that way was like in the mid-90s with the Chargers against the Niners. I'm like, how did you make it here? Somebody stepped out of bounds. I wasn't like, what are you doing here?
Hold on, Mike. I'll give you the Patriots and Rams Super Bowl that was 13-3, where the Rams and Jared Goff had absolutely nothing. And I want to say off the top of my head, that was the same year that the Rams got the PI.
Yeah.
That was egregious.
Well,
they changed the rules.
I at least knew what they were doing there. It was a bad call.
No, and Todd Gurley got hurt, and they really needed him for everything that Goff was doing. And Gurley's
but they were
career
terrible that Super Bowl.
ended that career. Yeah, but Gurley's career ended with whatever the injuries were that prevented him from playing in that game. He was the actual MVP for that team. To Mike's point, though, how did the Patriots get here? Okay. 14-3, 3 losses by 1 score. 1 to the Steelers, 1 to the Bills, 1 to the Raiders.
They lose to the Raiders.
Well, because they didn't play anybody.
I watched that game yesterday. I can understand them dropping a dumb one to the Raiders.
They didn't play anybody, and they lost their healthy offensive lineman a month ago, and I thought the wheels were going to fall off then. They just fell off when they had to face the 3 best defenses back-to-back, and they won 2 of the games. They won 2 of the games because C.J. Stroud was terrible and because Jarrett Stidham's not a starting quarterback. Stickham. He's not a starting quarterback, and that's the reason they lost those games. I would have preferred, obviously, to see Denver in that game, or they could have just run it back Rams and Seahawks, and I would have been fine with that. But did you guys see this? This made me laugh, right? They interviewed Vrabel at halftime, and he says, all we got to do is block, execute, attack, be aggressive, go find a way. None of that's helpful. Like none of it is helpful. Like, hey, coach, what do we have to do? Block, execute, attack, be aggressive, and go find a way.
Wait, what are you confused by? I got exactly what the mandate was. What is it? Block, execute, aggressive, go
attack,
find a way.
Attack, go find a way.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. Yeah, but coach, our quarterback's scared because we can't block their 4 guys.
That's why he said block.
Attack is useless there. Everything else very helpful.
Aggressive is very helpful.
You got to be aggressive.
I need to know that.
Aggressive. So block, execute, aggressive, attack, go find a way.
Attack is the only redundancy there.
I fell for so much BS before the game because the AFC had home designation, and Mike Vrabel wanted to do this road warrior mentality thing, so they wore all white, their road uniforms, despite them being the home team. It's largely why Fanatics was not ready for any of the Super Bowl merch. But they also opted, one thing that I caught during the pregame was they also opted for the road locker room. So any shot that they had of the Patriots, like they were in the tinier road locker room that looked crappy, they willingly did that. And I'm like, man, this team may just roll. They're all crazy like their head coach. And it turned out that they were crazy to think that they had a shot. They got rolled in this one.
And they turned to their coach. Coach, we need some advice. Nothing's working. Go find a way. All right, thanks, coach. Appreciate it.
Go find a way. Make it happen.
Will Campbell, go find a way.
He didn't find it.
No, he did not. Again, do you realize in a halftime show where everyone is talking for 3 seconds because they got to get to the next commercial in a hurry because everybody's watching the commercial, it's the only time all year that people are watching commercials. Everyone's skipping through commercials everywhere, but not on this day. And the analysis is Will Campbell is getting his butt kicked. Just if you're an offensive lineman, you dream all your life of playing in the Super Bowl. That is a horror. That is an uncommon horror to have everyone noticing you playing.
Do you just imagine, like, his grandma sitting on the couch and hearing that?
Yes, because the thing is, the only time you notice an offensive lineman is when there are penalty flags, but there were no penalty flags in that game. It's just somebody getting devoured.
Yeah, why didn't he hold a couple times?
There were no penalty flags in that game, so it's just we're all noticing someone's incompetent, and it's because of the pressures being allowed. It's not even the sacks. It's that he allowed 14 quarterback pressures.
That's so many.
I mean, it's more than any lineman has allowed this season. They played the entire season. There are a lot of bad linemen out there. There were plenty of games with plenty of sacks. That's the only one that's had one lineman getting allowing 14 quarterback pressures. And then the analysis from the halftime analyst is Will Campbell is getting his butt kicked.
On 43 attempts from Drake May, by the way, so 14 pressures on 43 attempts. It's a very good percentage.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah.
Do you think when they call in the play, like they're about to huddle up and McDaniels calls in the play to his ear, it's another passing play, it's like, shit.
I mean, did it not seem to you that Drake May was not only scared but unrecognizable? That Stafford didn't look like that. Stafford beat that dude by 1 vote. Stafford didn't look like that against that defense. That looked incompetent and unhealthy. At least surprising thing in the world that, I needed an injection before the game. I don't recognize the quarterback that's been playing for the last month. Jeremy, how many times has Drake May been sacked in the postseason? It was 20 what? It was 20 plus times that he was sacked. So the stat on Drake May, I've got it written down here somewhere.
I think it was 21, yeah.
But the stat on Drake May, he's played 33 games. It's 102 sacks and 24 fumbles. It's 7 fumbles this postseason. 33 games, 102 sacks, 24 fumbles. That's 4 sacks a game, and that's nearly a fumble per game every time he's out there. That's not Stafford.
No, it's not. I mean, Stafford has a lot more help around him. Yeah. That's pretty evident. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Parkinson, Higbee, like Kyron Williams, Sean McVay calling it. Hunter Henry's been in the league for 10 years. Austin Hooper has been a punchline on our show for 5 years, and he's still in the league. Mac Hollins, what are we doing? Stephon Diggs, okay, potential Hall of Fame career, no doubt, but not at this point in his career. That's not a lot of talent surrounding Drake May right now.
Did you see Mac Hollins get up arriving at the stadium yesterday?
What was he doing?
Hannibal Lecter, right? He was Hannibal Lecter.
He's got branding, and he did his job. He caught his touchdown. I got no problem with Mac Hollins.
But coming in barefoot and with shackles on?
That's always he always arrives barefoot. Yeah. That's his thing. Thank God.
Stupid.
Someone on that team had some life. Something to them.
Drake May was indeed sacked 21 times. And Dan, it took 20 minutes, but I finally found the game you were referencing when you said Justin Tuck. It was OCU Manura. He had 6 sacks in a game in September of 2007 against the left tackle Winston Justice of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, I remember Andy Reid got crushed after that game.
So a 20-year-old reference.
We speak Dan back here. We were on that wild goose chase forever. I'm like, he said Justin Tuck, but he was doing it from
Could
the
it be
inside.
Grady Jarrett? No.
Because when he said, he was like, I forget the kid's name. It was Winston Justice. We figured it out.
OCU Manura.
Thank you for doing all of the translations on that. I didn't get any of the names right while saying I remember it.
We got there.
Tuck
Again,
did have...
we found a way.
Yeah, the reason why you confuse it is Tuck also had a big Sunday night football game, but it was against Washington, and since he would do most of his damage from the inside, there wasn't somebody to put that loss on. So I knew you were conflating it with another Sunday night football game.
Thank you. Winston Justice is the guy I was thinking of, and it's the last time I felt that kind of bad for an offensive lineman of any kind, because it's hard to notice them, and you can give Kenneth Walker the patient award, because not since Le'Veon Bell has a running back run quite like that, where he's that patient in the backfield. But we don't notice those offensive linemen when they're actually making the holes. There's only a couple of ways to notice them. They're allowing all the sacks or they're getting penalties. There were no penalties in that game. That was a clean game, and I think we can say, without it being overreaction, right? Patriots were frauds. We can say it without it being an overreaction, correct? Because of everything Mike is saying here, where once their quarterback gets scared, you realize how little help he has.
Yeah, I guess. I wanted to push back against it, but I think you're probably right.
All you got to do is look at who they played this year. They didn't play anybody, right? There's a laundry list of coaches that they played that got fired this season.
Barely got past Denver 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but they were 14-3 the way Darnold's Minnesota team was 14-3, and then they got rid of Darnold. Darnold is now 31-7 in his last 38 games.
There's nobody better.
I mean,
there's nobody better. There hasn't been a better stretch of that in a very long time.
31-7 in 38 games. If only because he's Sam Darnold and everything happened last year in Minnesota and then they lose in the playoffs exactly the way you thought, we make Sam Darnold a fraud, but he's not. And now the Patriots are? Because I haven't seen many 14-3 teams that get to be frauds, but Drake May's on one of them and Sam Darnold was on the last one I saw. Because that Minnesota team was a fraud too and lost immediately in the playoffs. Drake May's misfortune. Drake May would have been better off just losing at Denver. Bo Nix being healthy and just lose at Denver, and so you don't have to be like 21 sacks in 3 games. Drake May's going to get the blame for that, but the organization and the offensive line does. I know that guy's good. I know he is.
Is he?
And away it went. But oops, there goes gravity, and here comes a new variant. Omaha, Corona, Hut 1, Hut 2, nothing infects the Super Bowl, and nothing stops football.
Racism, greed, trauma to brain and spine. And yet, I cannot look away. Heroes are dead. Science has their heads. Oh, is there no escape?
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Juju, put these questions on the poll, please. Why was Lady Gaga there? Yes or no?
No.
Also, was anyone clamoring for a remade television show of the teddy bear Ted? Yes or no?
My son and I watch it. It's hilarious. You're way off base.
I'm not even sure if people know what you're talking about based off how you said that.
It's
the
in
teddy
its,
bear
like-
Ted.
What?
The teddy bear Ted.
The teddy bear Ted.
I think
How
it's
much
in
clearer
its third
could I have
season.
made it?
Yeah.
And it's on Peacock.
I'm just wondering whether anybody was clamoring for that.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
think so, since it's a multi-season run and popular IP, and you can find it right here on Peacock.
Also, I saw on the broadcast early as they were showing all of the celebrities, they were saying, and there is Jay-Z with his crew. And Beyonce's there. Beyonce's more famous than Jay-Z at this point, is she not? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Who's more famous, Jay-Z or Beyonce?
I don't like how they're scrambling back there.
She was not there. That was his daughter.
That was his daughter, Blue Ivy Carter.
But again, looks just like her.
Just like her.
Dan.
That's a compliment, I guess.
I knew once they started moving back there.
Did any of
Quick,
you
pressure with 4.
Did any of you watch the North Carolina Duke game? Because
Smooth.
I really didn't.
Again, Dan, to be fair, though.
twin.
I mean, very much
It was
looks
a
like
flash.
her mom.
It was quick. It was a flash. And
It was
I
like
thought-
sideways, too. Like, I saw that same thing. I was like, oh, there's Jay. And it's like, oh, wait a second.
Man, that's not Beyonce.
I'm telling you, very close.
What?
Did you guys watch North Carolina Duke? Because
I did. I did not watch the very end. I fell asleep. I thought that game was over.
Mike, Duke was leading the entire game, and it remains a mystery to me today how North Carolina won that game, because it very much was in the last 4 minutes of that game. 3-3 out of nowhere. College basketball players can't actually shoot. They're all learning how to play basketball. They're all terrible shooters. You never see threes go down like that. Bang, bang, bang. And then the last one hits, and you got to let them storm the court, and you got to leave the 0.4 of a second off of the clock. Don't get everyone off of the court. John Shire saying after the game that one of his staffers got punched. No one saw the staffer get punched, and there's still not video evidence of the staffer getting
In his
punched.
defense, there are very rarely cameras at a Duke, North Carolina game.
They rush everyone off the court and then play the last 0.4 of a second. So then you get the court storming again after that. You get 2 court storms, but North Carolina deserved to enjoy the revelry of winning that game, because having watched that game, I still don't understand how they won that game.
Yeah, North Carolina fans and the students should be embarrassed. Should be ashamed of themselves. You're North Carolina basketball. You're storming the court.
That was a pretty fun way
It
to
doesn't
win,
matter, though.
Duke's top
Storming
5.
the court.
It's
Zaz,
Duke.
Duke is top
It's
5.
their rival. And UNC's ranked too.
Okay,
UNC's
but,
also ranked.
but it's a top 5 win.
Ranked versus ranked, you don't storm.
That's
UNC,
what they care the most
UNC basketball, UNC should storm the court against nobody.
They hate Duke the most. They would only storm the court against Duke. That's the one.
But you stormed the court because you just did something improbable. So UNC basketball's telling me that beating Duke is now improbable?
Not a problem, but a top 5 Duke team that's a very good team.
Dude, you can be excited,
Have
but you
some
don't storm.
self-respect.
It can be a ruckus atmosphere.
Yep.
You go crazy, but like you don't storm
Have
because
some
you've been
self-respect.
here before.
Zaz, I get your larger point, and in a vacuum, I don't even really disagree with you, but you're saying when it's improbable, you can storm the court. Well, if you watch this game,
No.
it was improbable.
It was.
That was a wire-to-wire ass-kicking that they were on the receiving end of. I still am confused because I fell asleep, and I fell asleep because I'm like, this game did not deliver.
Storming the court doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't. It has no meaning anymore.
Chris Cody, what did you put in front of the atmosphere? What is the word?
Oh no, ruckus.
So you made it a ruckus.
A ruckus atmosphere. No.
The raucous atmosphere.
Raucous.
Yeah, but so it was both though, because it was also a ruckus. It turned into a ruckus because
nailed it.
Yeah, but you didn't nail it. But
Two birds, one stone.
You
Wait, what?
Oh.
I said something, meant something else, but it fits.
So on this day, though, Bill Belichick shows up. We were talking about this last week, right? We were talking about the Panthers fighting with the Lightning, and we were talking about rivalries, but also players actually hating each other. And when you see a North Carolina game against Duke, their luminaries show up. Like their people all show up, former players, and it's a really fun, different thing, and these schools hate each other, and that hatred gets passed down generationally from parents. So Bill Belichick goes to the game with Jordan Hudson, and she's wearing, what is the shirt she is wearing there? Can you describe it to the audio audience there?
It is an Orchids of Asia Day Spa t-shirt, obviously custom made. This is the massage parlor that was tied to Robert Kraft's prostitution bust in 2019.
How do you know the parlor doesn't sell them?
Good point by him.
Do you have rocks in your mouth?
When he delivers a good point, he does it with a little rubble. When he's got you, when he's got you cornered.
I've been around him so long that I can kind of speak, but if I just met you, I wouldn't know what the hell you just said.
How do you not know that they don't sell them? Because you're saying it's custom made, and he's as a journalist, he's questioning your verification.
Cool. Then she went down to the day spa that was connected to Robert Kraft's 2019
Well, she could have
prostitution
just ordered. She probably
bust.
could have just ordered it on Amazon. It doesn't have to be. She doesn't have to go down to Boca.
All right, let's not get bogged down here. There was intention.
Yeah.
All right, this is evil. This is sinister. This is calling attention to this. This is trolling. This is speaking to all the conspiracy theories out there that Robert Kraft is behind Bill Belichick not getting into the Hall of Fame. This is, you want to talk about, this is a purposeful distraction for Bill Belichick. What, Bill Belichick's going to play dumb there? They did this with intention. They don't get to play the whole leave us alone, we're not asking for any of this card. That is, we are looking for this attention. We have a message to share.
Do you think this is him being hey, you should do this? Or is this her, hey, I have this idea. Remember, he did this, and Bill's just like, oh, I don't think anyone
this
will know
cares. They're both having a laugh over
But
it.
I am just curious the dynamic there who's the actual mastermind behind this.
This is a crazy move.
This is staggering in its pettiness. It really, when I saw this, I was like, whether Bill knows or not, I cannot believe the size of this pettiness. Even if, look, man, I have rarely seen my wife how she gets when she gets that way in defense of me. She doesn't do it in defense of herself. It's when someone has wronged me. What it stirs in her is something that is nastier than I'm used to seeing from her. And I don't know whose idea this was. I can't imagine that it was Belichick's idea, but it is born of whatever it is that Belichick is telling her about Bob Kraft, that she would wear a t-shirt that represents Robert Kraft's greatest public shame. There is none worse than this, than him being caught as an old man in a Boca tanning strip mall center in the middle of a sex trafficking ring, allegedly. He has no greater public shame to wear that t-shirt while standing next to Belichick at North Carolina Duke when the Patriots are in the Super Bowl is a breathtaking amount of petty, a flabbergasting amount of petty.
It's right up there with that time Robert Kraft auditioned for that movie.
Can we get that? Can we get that video? Because I think I got in trouble for playing that on ESPN one time before Robert Kraft, actually before Bill Belichick ended up with the young girlfriend. Robert Kraft, a recently widowed Robert Kraft, was doing auditioning for a part, acting or helping a young woman in a part. And
I forgot about that.
I got in trouble for playing that on ESPN on Highly Questionable. Yeah, they got there. I don't know what phone calls got made where, but I found out after playing it because I was so delighted by it. Right, it's an 80-year-old owner sitting there acting opposite. Here we go. A Heather Graham.
We got in trouble before. Doing it here.
Do it again. A Heather Graham lookalike. Yes, in a bikini top. And see if you can find the sound, because the audition is truly terrible. Like he's a cigar store wooden Indian for acting. Like he's just. He's absolutely not not a good actor. Go ahead and play it.
How do you know the parlor doesn't sell them?
I found that one first.
How do you know the parlor doesn't sell them?
How do you know the parlor doesn't sell them? I'll be honest with you. At first, I wasn't sure what I said there. How do you know the parlor doesn't sell them? It's tough to make out what I said.
It's when you're at your most confident and most relaxed, when you know you've got a killer line, you just do your jowls get a little looser, and you really let it fly there, and you had a good one.
There's an air of confidence to that.
How do you know it's 4 words?
How do you know the
I don't want to see you after a couple of brown liquors in you.
How do you know the whatever it had the effect. How do you know the
I did understand him.
Had the effect of what?
I understand him, but I've known him for 20 years.
Got the point across.
You guys are surprised by how petty that is, right? Like that you would just do any of that publicly. Not that you would feel it. Not that you would feel it, but that you would do it. That you would allow anybody to feed on this kind of petty.
It's not even just that it's the weekend that the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, and obviously 6 championships with the Super Bowl with the Patriots. But Drake May went to the school that he works at and is in the Super Bowl that weekend with the Patriots, and this is why Belichick's an asshole, and I find it funny that he was left out of the Hall of Fame. That's why that was funny to me last week when Belichick now has to wait because he's a dick.
Am I the only one that can see a scenario where he doesn't really know what's happening here?
Oh, stop. That's what he's counting on. For everyone to just think he's some doddering old man that doesn't get the reference.
Wouldn't he clearly say, that's going to get picked up? Like, you're just making more news for me. It just feel like if she pitches that. I'm not trying to say that. I'm sure he is aware a little bit. I don't know. It just seems so obvious that this would make news.
If it bothered
him, he would try to avoid it.
If it bothered... No. He's actually looking for it.
Right. And
that is insanely petty.
No, and that's the part that I also find to be incredibly hypocritical, and it's something that he was doing this entire first year at UNC. For the coach who in the NFL, when we're dealing with professional players, was all about no distractions, it's only about the team, don't do or say anything that takes any of the attention away from football. And he is non-stop with let's take attention away from the team.
Okay, the thing that I want to go down the path on, though, and thank you, Chris, for doing that, because I think we're all in agreement, like, he can't be an innocent victim on all of this. But beyond petty, I suppose you can make the argument on behalf of it being artful content-wise, but if that's the way you feel, Bill, say it. Like, don't drape your 20-year-old girlfriend in it. Like, if that's the way you feel, stop with not congratulating Drake May when they win and he's the North Carolina quarterback and doing some of the stuff that you do. Say it. Like, quit hiding behind. You're a champion coach. Like, if this is the way that you feel, don't drape it in the ornament that your girlfriend is wearing.
It's small and pathetic. It's pathetic what he's doing. To have Jordan wear that shirt and send that message out the weekend that franchise is in the Super Bowl, when you know people are going to be looking at you and decontextualizing everything, every single one of your moves out in public with one another. I am flabbergasted at how ugly this has gotten publicly, because in my mind, he did just say it. In my mind, that is a statement with Kraft's statement a couple of days earlier saying Bill deserves and trying to high road it. For him to come back in low road like that is nuts.
Mike, if he said it, if Bill Belichick said it, what about Robert Kraft being caught at that sex parlor? If he said it, it would be headlines and it would be nonstop. It wouldn't be whispered about, and it wouldn't have, I'm not sure, did he know? Like, is he a doddering old man? If he said it, it would be headlines for days, and there would be no misunderstanding about, he actually hates everything in that organization now. He's not said that.
Yeah, I am not maybe you guys are putting more stock into the did he or did he not know.
It's just tasteless.
It's so obvious.
Right.
Yes.
It's so obviously tasteless that I have to imagine he can't be this aggressively petty.
He's shown us who he is.
No, I mean, that's wild if he is.
The thing about it, though, is, again, hurt people hurt people. This is Bob Kraft's greatest public shame. That you're hitting in the softest spot. Like, this is he was widowed and he loved his wife, and their love was a public love that everyone in New England knows about. And an old man was caught at a Boca strip mall in the middle of a ring in which he made a lot of that stuff go away. Like, because of the amount of power that he has, a lot of that stuff was a momentary blip, and then he fought it, and then it went away. Bill Belichick being with someone who's purposely showing off at that game this weekend, Bob Kraft's greatest public shame, I would like there to be more. If that's the amount of petty that Belichick has in him, I would like to hear it spoken instead of us having to interpret whether or not it's so when they're making it this obvious. What are you shaking your head about, Tony?
Dan, everything that you're saying, I'm listening to it, and I'm thinking of one thing. You could have said all those different things and just switched the name. It's exactly what Giannis did too, by the way. Just standing behind an absolute.
Just say it, man.
Just say it. You want to get traded, but you don't want to get traded. I want to find a new home, but now you come out after the trade deadline and say, "No, I attract stars." No, you don't. No, you don't. You have Miles Turner. Okay, you had Kyle Kuzma. You didn't attract shit. You know what you attracted? A guy that they cut from Brooklyn. Okay.
Oh, but this
Cam
isn't
Thomas,
the reason.
that's it.
This you're talking about what happened with him and this alternate gambling market that is predicting futures. You're talking.
Oh, he hasn't even gotten.
I haven't even started that. I haven't even started that. That ruined his legacy, by the way.
This is a open and shut. What are we doing here?
Ruined his legacy.
Open and shut.
Oh, yeah, Pablo, 5 minutes on the Kalshi Giannis thing. How is this allowed? How is it allowed? He waits until his name is in the news cycle for weeks on end to announce a Kalshi prediction market partnership. That's not something that
after
just
the
comes
trade
together.
deadline. After the trade deadline.
While he's manipulating the markets.
Don't worry. Adam Silver will get on it.
They're taking millions of dollars in bets as to which team he'll land on that platform. And then he comes out after being all coy and stuff and saying he's a partner.
You weren't even talking about that, though?
No,
Tony?
he wasn't.
You're just talking about just his other social media behavior of I don't leave.
I'm
I
not
attract
effing leaving.
stars.
Yes, putting the Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street thing up, saying I'm not leaving. Buddy, 3 weeks ago you said you wanted to find a new home, and then you dog and pony show, okay, with Milwaukee.
They called it a sideshow.
It was a sideshow.
Maybe we should revisit what Brian Windhorst was saying there, because the teams were left with the impression, oh, these guys aren't serious about moving him, and then they didn't move him. Teams were informed the evening before the deadline that they were not moving him, but it was absolutely something that prediction markets were getting handles on, and it was something that he perpetuated. So now he comes out as a partner for this platform, as a financial backer of Kalshi. Like, he stood to gain from all the action they took. Is this nuts? How is this allowed?
Yeah, it's crazy, especially because, like, those partnerships don't happen overnight, and over the course of the time after it was brought up by Shams that, hey, Giannis wants out of Milwaukee and they're looking at trades and the Bucks are taking it seriously, $23 million were put into Kalshi over whether or not he would leave Milwaukee. $23 million, and he is a financial investor in this company, and that comes out the day after in this way that is so, like, cocky about it. Like, it was brazen in the way he went about it. It was shocking.
And guess what? It's not regulated.
Not regulated at all.
Not regulated. You can put whatever you want in whatever amount of money and be like, all right, yeah, I'm here. I'm in Wisconsin. Here it is. Boom.
He also announced a partnership, an ownership stake in Chelsea Women's Football Club. It seemed as though Giannis use the trade deadline and his name being in the news as a setup for a whole marketing rollout on partnerships that were trotted out not even 48 hours after the NBA trade deadline. That is with intention.
That is an obvious conflict of interest, and I want to get into what it is that Tony was saying about ruined legacy, because I don't believe that this will stick to him in any meaningful way, no matter how mad Miami people are that they did not get him. But when we talk about some of the stuff going on with gambling markets in general and how much we don't know about the behavior of some of our athletes and where they're conflicted. I don't know if you guys have seen Emmanuel Clase, the Guardians closer, was as good a closer as there was in the sport. Now the numbers are he manipulated 48 games. Like there were 48 games where he was throwing. It's a lot more than people thought. He was really terrible last year. It didn't make any sense that he was terrible because he's a dominant closer. So he's never going to play baseball again. Okay, that is he's going to get banned for life. And that news comes out as Yasiel Puig, who came from Cuba and was an uncommon phenom in baseball, he now faces 20 years in federal prison because of his involvement in gambling in Los Angeles that he was doing privately. He wasn't even doing it through any of these regulated or unregulated sources, and then lied to federal investigators. So now he's facing 20 years. You're talking about somebody who was a Dodger superstar, somebody who was a legitimate baseball phenom, now faces 20 years. When you say ruined legacy, guys, on this, I don't believe anyone's talking about this. I have heard no one, never mind ruined legacy on Giannis, I've heard no one talking or caring about the conflict that you guys are talking about, which is you can't do what he just did. Like, that's not something that should be allowed to happen quietly. That's not something that should be allowed to happen with people not noticing it. People shouldn't notice Bill Belichick's girlfriend's shirt more than they notice this particular conflict. And when we talk about foreign players, when I talk about Emmanuel Clase, Yasiel Puig, Giannis Antetokounmpo, when they come to this country, they have to live by our rules. But what are the rules here? This stuff's not governed. Like, what are the rules when the president of the United States, okay, is taking $500,000 from the, or 500, was it 500,000 or 500 million? I don't even know what it was. Some ridiculous fee that he was taking that he says he doesn't know about because his sons are involved in it, and it involves giving away AI information in exchange for that money because everything's compromised now. It doesn't matter what's regulated, what's not regulated. Rules don't matter anymore. No one's talking about, set up the conflict again so that people understand who don't understand. There was plenty of advertising for this during the Super Bowl because unregulated gambling is...
Well, they call it futures markets, Dan.
It's like prediction market,
it's
right?
a prediction market. Predictions are largely unregulated. And... LeBron has a marketing partnership with DraftKings. Kevin Durant has done stuff with ownership stakes in the betting space. But prediction markets and platforms that are totally dedicated to prediction markets, this is something new that the NBA is dealing with. There hasn't been precedent, I don't think, for somebody that has a stake in a sole prediction market platform. And to have it all roll out by the deadline is crazy. And it seems like, did this not go through some sort of compliance with the NBA? A partnership like this cannot be taking the NBA by surprise, which is why I'm stunned at the timing. Because if the NBA knew about this and it cleared their checks and balances, the optics of this, given everything that's going on with salary cap circumvention in that league, are terrible. It's terrible optics because you're looking at what happened with this trade and the Giannis pursuit, and you could very clearly see now that it's over that, Giannis kind of manipulated this a little bit. The narrative around his actual departure wasn't the truth.
It's not going to stick to him, though. Ruined legacy, you guys are getting carried away with that. Like, you guys can shake, Jeremy, you can shake your head all you want. How do you have this sticking to him?
I'm telling you, like, a lot of people felt differently about him over the last 48 hours after that than they did before.
Yeah, Heat fans.
No. You should have
people in
seen the
space,
way
of course.
NBA internet reacted to this. People calling for him to be in prison over what just happened in the manipulation of these markets. Like, and I'm talking about like reputable people. I'm not talking about like random Heat
Name
fan
someone.
1, 2, 3.
I'll determine how reputable.
Oh, he put you on the spot there. You
Name
made it
somebody who said,
difficult.
who said Giannis should be imprisoned.
Okay, I'll go grab the name.
I feel for Jeremy here because you just cornered him. I'm surprised you didn't say it with the marbles in your mouth.
Oh.
How about your name?
To be fair, though.
How do you know
Go ahead. You want to be
Why do we need to be fair? We're scorned by Giannis.
No.
Let's wear our bias on our sleeves.
What I was going to say, outside of the Kalshi thing,
we are calling for jail.
Trying to figure out who
that is
imprisonment.
That is the
unfair.
official position of the scorned Heat fan is we are calling for jail.
At least wait 2 weeks before you spit in my face.
With
That's the
Kalshi,
thing.
Like, if this happened, like, next week, all right, not as painful.
And
but the
less
next
shady.
day?
And less shady.
Can I tell you who should be in jail? I'm being serious here.
Who's that, Zaz?
The head coach of the Utah Jazz, Will Hardy. You see what happened on Saturday night? I'm being serious now.
No.
This is a good segue.
I did not see what the Utah Jazz
He
did
should be in
on
prison.
Saturday.
I'm being serious.
Really?
So Saturday night.
Hold on, before you get any further, just I love the Amin stat of 3 years ago, the Utah Jazz had the single worst defensive season of any team ever, topped only by what they did the next season, 2 seasons ago, topped only by what they're doing this season. That's why he should be in prison, okay? But continue.
So I'm going to enter some more evidence then to the case, all right? So the Utah Jazz, like they traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. last week. It's clearly looking toward the future, all right? But they're still tanking, okay? Because their pick is protected if it's 1 through 4. If it's 5 through 9, they have to give it up. I think maybe to the Clippers. But it's protected 1 through 4. So they still want to lose. Okay, the Utah Jazz on Saturday night, they're playing at the Orlando Magic. The Jazz were up by 7 going into the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, Lauri Markkanen, who had 27 points through 3 quarters, did not play a single second in the fourth quarter.
Good player.
Jaren Jackson Jr., who had 22 points through 3 quarters, did not play a single second in the fourth quarter. Starters Yusuf Nurkic and Keontae George also did not play a single second in the fourth quarter. And predictably, the Orlando Magic came back and won the game 120-117. So let me ask you something. You know, when Jonte Porter purposely comes in with unders, under points, under rebounds, this is a federal offense because he is manipulating gambling odds. The Utah Jazz head coach here, not before the game, where they're like, listen, we're trying to tank, so we're going to sit guys, and they're going to play, and if they win, they win, and if they don't, they don't. Things were not going the way that the Utah Jazz wanted through 3 quarters because they want to lose games. Right. So in the middle of the game, the head coach decided to make strategic moves to ensure that the team loses. That's not point shaving?
They said before the game that Keontae George would be on a minutes restriction, but nobody else. That is.
Isn't that the definition
Yes.
of point shaving? You are making strategic in-game decisions to make sure that a specific outcome, losing, happens. That's point shaving.
Look, I usually think you're a sucker. You're dead on this.
How is this okay?
Look, this is what we're discussing. This is what this hour is. How is any of this okay?
We've said
Jordan
that for
Hudson.
all 3 stories.
Jordan Hudson, how is this okay? Giannis having conflict of interest with the predictions market. How is this okay? And also the Utah Jazz losing on purpose. How is this okay?
Jeremy did find some support online. He found someone asking openly, is this okay?
A credible person?
reputable.
Yes, reputable. OG Anunoby addict at playoff bound NYK.
Hold on, wait. Read that again?
Yeah, OG
I thought you said it was
Anunoby addict.
OG Anunoby.
Me
At
too. I was like,
playoff
okay.
bound NYK asks, how is this legal?
Not reputable.
No?
He's made the ruling.
There is an MLB journalist that had questioned how it's not manipulating
Who?
markets.
Clark
but I don't want to
Spencer?
throw him under the bench.
June Lee?
Well, June Lee, June Lee did a
Lee's
whole
on that beat. June Lee's all
he did a
about like
whole-
how
whole
like
thing on it.
gambling's taking the joy away from sports. I don't know, man. When Henderson got that catch at the end, your boy was pretty happy.
When A.J. Barner scored that first touchdown, Dan, I was elated.
Well,
Just needed a half a rushing yard from JSN.
You got a defensive touchdown, too.
And
you
I got a
predicted
defensive
it. What
touchdown.
did that pay? What is a defensive touchdown? No, I'm not asking you how much you bet. I'm saying, was it 7-1, 10-1? What does it pay for a deal? What were the odds on a? Because I think Damashek said, I was thinking about Damashek because he said it was 11-1 odds that you get for a safety, and they were pinned inside their 5-yard line. And
they were at the 1.
Like the ingredients were perfect to get a safety, given Will Campbell was out there. They can't block anybody, and it's the number one defense pinning the Patriots inside of their 6-yard line 3 different times. That would have paid 11-1. But what did a defensive touchdown? Can you guys look? Ooh, 850.
850.
That's very good.
And I got A.J. Barner. It's plus 750.
Ooh. So Smith and Jigba leaves that game, and it doesn't even end up mattering because of how it is that the Seahawks and Collinsworth saw it early, right? It's 3-0 middle of the first quarter, and he's like, "Oh, this is going to be a defensive game. Like there's going to be no answer for what's presently happening out on the field at any point from the Patriots." But did you guys on the commercials? We have not talked about the commercials. It's the only time at any point in the year that anyone talks about or pays attention to commercials. And I thought that the Goodwill, what was it? The Goodwill Dunkin commercial, that was going to feed a certain demo for the nostalgic among you. You know, they bring out Ted Danson from Cheers and they make him look young. They made all these people look the age they were when they were in the 90s. The whole commercial was meant to feed the demo of, did you love this stuff back in the 90s, 30 years ago? So it's a commercial for old people, and it's summoning parts that a whole generation of people don't even know Ted Danson as the bartender from Cheers. Like I don't even know if they necessarily watch Friends, although it plays on commercials everywhere. I also didn't understand why they wouldn't get Matt Damon, given that he was in the last Dunkin' commercial with Affleck and Belichick and Jordan Hudson. Why did they have Ben Affleck playing the role of Matt Damon when they could have just gotten Matt Damon, who didn't participate in the commercial?
At the end of the commercial, there was a little disclaimer that said, like, back in the 90s, there was a real leading man who played Will Hunting in a movie that was very popular, like trying to appeal to Gen Z in that respect. I would have really loved this commercial if they didn't de-age these guys. If they would have looked exactly how they look now, but with the wigs to de-age them, as opposed to the stupid, like, why are we doing this CGI to try to de-age these people? It's so stupid. None of us want to see all of this, like, AI manipulating all of it. It's so frustrating.
Speaking of the CGI, that Jurassic Park CGI, awful.
I didn't like it.
Awful.
Left me uncomfortable
with the
de-aging. I'm with you. That looked bad, although I did enjoy the nostalgia of the commercial.
Did anyone have more commercials than Jeff Goldblum? Did any one person have more commercials? I know this is
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
How thrilled were their agents when all those emails started rolling in? I actually thought the karaoke one for Coinbase was pretty good.
That one got the attention of our room. I couldn't get anyone to shut up, but everyone started singing when that one came on.
Yeah, and because of that, my entire Super Bowl party started booing when it ended up being for freaking Coinbase. Like, everyone's so excited. Oh, karaoke. What is this going to be? Coinbase? Really?
What's your deal?
You don't like crypto. We get it.
What's your deal?
Yeah, was Denny's, you would have been good. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
Yes, Denny's would have been fine for him.
Grand Slam.
Mike Tyson did a commercial for healthy eating, and there has been in the history of, I'm going to say, American sports and American marketing, never been someone like Mike Tyson. You can never have a convicted rapist be in commercials for your things. That's not something that's ever been so. He navigates a space that
why is that?
No one he's that famous and that recognizable that the Q rating is somehow, like, you guys say that this is going to ruin Giannis's legacy. There are some legacies that are so large that they're almost not ruinable with little things, and not that being in prison for rape for 3 years is a little thing, but his life is so crazy throughout that somehow that is a spot on it that's not the lead spot and can somehow get erased over years, somehow, in a way that doesn't totally make sense to me, because there's never been someone in the history of marketing who gets to occupy this particular space.
He was in a terrible space, and you know what put him over? The Hangover. Yep. Like, that movie put him over back into the good graces of everybody in society.
But convicted rapist doesn't ever get to be spokesman for commercial things during the Super Bowl, and no one, and there's not even a public objection.
And someone who's generally well-liked.
Well, it's because of what Tony is saying. It's because the Hangover, all of a sudden he went from menacing to being somebody in a comedy that we can laugh with and was making fun of himself. But again, convicted rapist. And not just convicted rapist, but told me one time, yeah, I was more comfortable there than I was on the outside. Like, I didn't want to actually leave. My life was better in there than it is on the outside because I got a bunch of people grabbing at a whole bunch of stuff that I want on the outside, and on the inside nobody messes with me and I could just be alone and my life is easier. What were the top 3 commercials though by consensus? Like the Goodwill Dunkin commercial was one of them, was it not? And I understand Tony making a face because it was for a demo and it's not Tony's demo.
Like, I knew a couple of guys, but then after that I was like, okay, that's whatever.
There were 2 others that I really liked. I liked the NFL tight end prostate commercial.
Yes.
That was very funny. And the Budweiser.
The Budweiser one was the best one of the entire night.
With the Clydesdale and then the bald
Eagle,
Eagles.
dude.
Miller Lite
with Freebird playing in the background, and they had the Eagle coming in with the horse. I was like, oh,
you didn't
America,
stand
Jack.
up and cheer when
Hell yeah,
everybody should be careful.
What else, Roy? Do you have any nominees? Do the rest of you have any nominees for the commercials that people were talking about yesterday? Because
no, Goodwill Dunkin was the best one for me, I believe.
Ben Stiller, Benson Boone.
See, the
falling
thing,
off the stage is funny.
Yeah, but the thing about that commercial, and I always have an objection to this because I do very little in the way of retention. I'll remember your commercial, but not necessarily what you were advertising because the commercial is so far afield. Like Ben Stiller as dodgeball rock star who's getting,
Instacart.
Yeah, but you don't remember because it
has
doesn't
nothing to do with Instacart.
It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just a commercial you remember, but you don't remember the product as it relates to marketing. Finally, though, and I'm glad Bad Bunny has a quicker video team than the one that we have. We have located the Bob Kraft audition that was his greatest public shame before the massage parlor.
Hi, I'm Ricky Lander, and I'm auditioning for Mary Elena. Okay, yes, that is burned in my memory. You can stop now.
You
Lyle!
The press box has changed.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue. They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a stairwell to write, man.
If it was 7 minutes, I'd get it.
It
was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, Stu?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and
Enough of
I
him.
imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz
Yes.
is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
Enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I gotta get home. I mean,
Yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
that was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers have their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
Oh,
What happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what?
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
Way
much
too
longer
long.
than the actual
on
conversation.
deadline.
I always extend it a little
Can we
bit.
call,
I mean, you guys
can we
know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the
Don't,
interaction was
no,
like?
no.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids, we'd make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the prefab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take
think it's a great opportunity for a new face of the league to ascend in Drake May.
When I say that we may be seeing the beginning of Patriots Dynasty 2.0, it's because of Drake May. I think he's that good. I'm not comparing to Brady. That's 5 years from now that you even dare do that. But I think Drake May is that good right now.
I think Denver and Houston were the single worst matchups that Drake May could have seen. I think he should fear Seattle less than those two.
Drake May having this stage against this defense, I actually think he's going to kill it because I think he's that kind of guy. I think he's like Josh Allen, and it doesn't matter how good your defense is. He's going to rise to the occasion.
Are the Seahawks better than the Rams?
I'm a proud day one stock owner of Drake May.
You're not shook by the last 2 games he's had to play against great defenses?
Bad weather. Bad weather.
I just think New England is really being underrated going into this game,
Well,
and maybe that Seattle's being a little bit overrated.
If I ask America right now, hey, do you think Seattle's defense was better than Houston's or Denver's? Because you saw what Houston's and Denver's did in weather to Drake May. I just think that Drake May might be about to show everybody in the country that that defense is not as good as you think it is, even though the metrics say that it is.
It's the Heat.
I believe that Sam Darnold will throw interceptions again.
Yes, I do too.
I'm on 4.5. I'll take it. And it's Vrabel as an underdog. This one's easy.
Does feel easy to bet.
Give me the points. And
give it to me.
If you even want to take the Seahawks, why don't you hedge against that and cook up a little Drake May as Superman parlay with like rushing yards or what have you.
The Rams, that offense is better at offense than Seattle is at defense. Do you have an opinion, given how close the games were between the Rams and Seattle, when it is that you look at Seattle in the Super Bowl? Do you see an appreciable difference between who's better between those two teams?
Between the Rams and Seattle?
Yes.
Well, of course, the Seattle's better because they won that game.
That's Fred Warner. So Dan Orlovsky says of Sam Darnold, it's the greatest redemption story the NFL has ever seen. Darnold is the first player in NFL history to lose his first playoff game by double digits and then come back and win the Super Bowl the very next year. I don't think any of us, anybody had Geno Smith being replaced by Sam Darnold and it turning into this. 10. What if the Seahawks won? Is it 10 straight games? 7 of them by 10-plus points. And their 3 losses by a total of 9 points. They lost 1 game by 4 points. That's their worst loss of the season. That team was dominant and took on all comers, being dominant. Jeremy, when we say that Drake May was sacked 6 times yesterday, but 21 this postseason, does that mean that that's the least that he was sacked in a postseason game? It must, mathematically, right? Because I don't think anybody had 10 sacks on him. Like, that the game we just saw is the least pressured that Drake May was when he played Denver and when he played Houston. If he took 21 sacks in 3 games, and there were only 6 of them yesterday.
He played 4 games.
Okay.
Remember, he played the Chargers to stop.
Okay,
to
my
start
bad.
this one.
My
So he was
bad.
sacked 5 times against the Chargers. He was sacked 5 times against
stop.
Houston, 5 times against Denver, and then 6 times against Seattle.
Park the car.
So it's the opposite of
said
what I
stop.
was saying. He was, he was
Stop.
Moron.
It was very different from all the words that came out of your mouth.
right. It's the opposite of what it is that I was saying. He was sacked more in this game than
From the
any of
snap.
the others.
We're assholes, man. We just love it when people misspeak.
Yeah, that happens sometimes around here.
Said ruckus. I've started feeling that pressure when I'm on game broadcasts.
Good.
I never had any nerves going to game broadcasts ever. I knew reading ads, I'm good. Reading my stories, speaking without having any script in front of me, I'm great. I'm good at this. And now, because of working here, I find myself hesitating every time I speak.
If you think you're family.
That's why.
Put it on the poll, please. Who should have been Super Bowl MVP? Go ahead and do Kenneth Walker, do Sam Darnold, put the kicker in there, put the punter in there, and also put Seattle's general manager in there, John Schneider, because I want to put all 5 of those up there because the biases in this sport are such that they give it to Kenneth Walker, and I understand, but he's not the reason they won that game. Like, he's just not. They won that game because of what the defense did to the number 2 offense in the league. Kenneth Walker contributed to that, but 5 field goals, get out of here. They won that game because of the defense, and we've just got offensive biases where we have to give that trophy to somebody who's an offensive player.
Why do you refuse to give Jason Myers any credit? He was 5 for 5. Most field goals without a miss in Super Bowl history.
I said the kicker and the punter. I put them on there. I didn't name either one of them, but I put the kicker and the punter.
It's got a name.
Yeah, well, Myers scored more points this season than anyone.
It's Jason.
Speak his name.
I got your back.
He just said Jason Myers. I'm not that forgetful.
It's all right.
Jason Myers and Michael Dixon are the punter, or the kicker and the punter, and Jason Myers just scored more points in a season than anyone ever has.
That's right.
LaDainian Tomlinson was before him. They played one more game than LaDainian Tomlinson did, but regardless, I'm not giving the MVP to a kicker, though I'm willing to consider the punter.
Do you think a single person had the balls to vote him?
I'm guessing there's probably a vote. Yes, I'm guessing there is. I mean, one of the things that we love around here is that in 1981, Mark Mosley won the MVP in football as the kicker for the then Washington Redskins. Mark Mosley won the MVP of American football in 1981.
That can't be true. You say that, but it can't be true.
Yeah, I'm sure that if you guys look up the voting, you will indeed find that somebody voted.
What's the guy's name?
Jason Myers?
No, Mosley.
Mark Mosley.
Mark, okay.
Mark Mosley. What are you doing, Jeremy, with your love of parody songs and the number of parody songs that were played yesterday in various commercials? How many? Did you get a count of how many parody songs were played?
I did. There were 4 different parody songs for this year's Super Bowl commercials. And I'm just saying, I think my fee has to go up here because this is what I do nearly every week on this show. There were 4 different parody songs for Super Bowl commercials. You had the Hellman's one with Andy Samberg where he was Meal Diamond.
Terrible.
If you don't like that, you don't like whimsy. Be whimsical. The State Farm Living on a Prayer to start. I mean, come on, with by the way, a lot of star power in that one. You had Danny McBride, Keegan-Michael Key, Haley Steinfeld's in it. You get Bon Jovi. Then the NBA itself. Everybody wants to rule the world for the NBA versus the world in the All-Star game.
Terrible.
So they do that. You have no whimsy. And then T-Mobile gets the Backstreet Boys.
I have no whimsy?
You have no whimsy.
Put it on the poll.
You're the one telling
If
me
you don't like
Coinbase.
parody songs, you don't have whimsy. You
No
just like
whims.
Coinbase. You don't have whimsy.
You're talking about AI.
This is whimsy.
When Banyama, like that was terrible.
If you like Coinbase, you have no whimsy.
I don't have whimsy.
No whimsy.
I am proudly zero whimsy.
That's ridiculous.
Put it
you
on
don't
the
want to be a silly
poll
goose?
At Le Batard Show, do you have any whimsy if you hated the Neil Diamond commercial? Jeremy, make me a parody song before the end of the show, please.
Okay, I can do that. You want to pick a? You want to pick a? We want to pick Miller Lite as the sponsor. I can make any of our
I
sponsors.
think we need to make
I want you to go away.
Parody song.
I want
Miller?
you to
You want me to go
away.
away?
I want
You have no whimsy.
I want you and your whimsy.
Dan's got whimsy.
To go away and be alone together and see what it births creatively here before the end of the show, por favor. Getting back to the placement of Sam Darnold, as Dan Orlovsky calls him, the greatest redemption story in the history of the NFL. It is a little difficult to reconcile that he now has more titles than the combination of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Dan Marino. It's a bit disorienting that he's now got as many titles as Aaron Rodgers.
Josh Allen, I know, and Sam Darnold, because I've seen them do golf content before. Like, they're legit friends, and this just has to bother Josh Allen. Like, oh, come on! I'm Josh Allen. He gets one.
The part, though, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, led the league in turnovers. No turnovers the entire postseason. He didn't learn something in the last 3 games. Like, that's not what happened. Yet you guys are gonna take the last 3 games as proof that he now learned something. He led the league in turnovers with 20. Now he learned something the last 3 games. That's how you have it?
Yeah, because they're champs, and he didn't have a turnover.
Well, can we play it the other way as well? You know, because last year he was great all season. And then he got his ass kicked in week 18 and then got his ass kicked in the wild card round. Like, he didn't all of a sudden become crappy, right?
Well, but he's always been someone who turns the ball over. He's always been someone who goes gunslinger. And over the last 3 games, he was doing none of that.
I think it's a great testament to Clint Kubiak and his offense and what they were able to establish. Like, make safe throws, right? We're going to spread the field. We're going to put you in really good positions to win.
Again, though,
you got to make that happen.
Again, he had that coach all season and led the league in turnovers.
Yeah, but they were also 14-3 and the best team in football.
Oh, but they're the best team in football, at least in part because they could overcome all of those turnovers and be better than everybody. It's in spite of all those turnovers.
We were all doing the same thing late in that third, 12-0. We need Sam Darnold to get us back. Like, we need – that's the only way it's going to happen at this point. The Patriots are not going to start moving, even though they did start moving the ball. But you needed Sam Darnold to do it, and he didn't do it.
Collinsworth at the end, gave voice to something that I thought was interesting because Collinsworth is saying toward the end of the game, he's like, I cannot believe that on third down there, they didn't just hand the ball off
when they threw
with
that one
6
wide,
minutes left and they threw an out route because the only thing that gets you beat here is a pick 6. But it speaks to how much confidence they actually had in Sam Darnold not doing an idiotic thing. Like it actually speaks to the guy in the booth who's got less invested than this in anyone, trust the quarterback less than the people in that huddle and less than the people who have made that monster investment who are saying, no, we're fine. He'll throw it away if it's not there.
And the complete opposite on the other side of the ball where there was a 4th and 1 almost in midfield and you're thinking, all right, if the Pats got to do anything, they got to get this converted right now on 4th and 1 around there like 45. And they chose to punt.
Didn't you predict that?
Of
Isn't
course
that
That was
one of your
mid-third quarter. That was a big debate in our party.
You go for it.
I was team go for it. Everyone was like, I was alone. Everyone's like, you can't panic.
What the old
there was
guys
still
say.
7 minutes left in the third there. It's a 2-score game. And Vrabel did the thing of, I'm confident. We're punting. Let's go. But I'm with you. I wanted him to go for it. But most people were team punt there.
That was the most obvious thing. I knew it from the moment when I said it the other day. It was like, there's going to be a 4th down that's going to be pivotal that he's going to look at his team and say, you know what? Punt the ball. Like, I don't need
the
it.
analytics say that's it's an easy call. You have to go for it there.
Of course.
The analytics say you have to go for that there. You have to do something to flip that game on its head. But when I tell you the following, when I say the Seahawks won 10 straight games, 7 of them by 10 plus in a sport where all the games are close. They had 3 losses this entire season by a total of 9 points, the worst of them by 4 points. You saw what they did to the 49ers in the first of these games. The Rams are the only team in the sport that can play with them that way because they've got the number 1 offense going up against the number 1 defense, and it doesn't look like the number 1 defense. You're looking at a run throughout the sport that's one of the best we've ever seen with Sam Darnold at quarterback. That's what you just saw. And Sam Darnold is now 31-7 in his last 38. It's not quite as easy. What John Schneider did there, they flipped out Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Like, that doesn't happen all that often. I know it happened on the other sideline because it took another coach in between with Gerard Mayo, but they did it on the other team where they reinvented their quarterback, but they drafted a quarterback. It's not a quarterback that was available to everybody. They got rid of Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, and there's not a holdover from when they were winning the championship the last time that John Schneider was the general manager there and they won the championship. That's nuts, is it not? Like, it seems like we talk a lot about all the organizations in that sport. I don't believe that Seattle's regarded as one of the best, but none of us had Geno Smith replaced by Sam Darnold ends up in a title. Nobody had that.
You know what it is? They don't have an owner screwing it up. They've had this weird trust situation that has been the ownership and all sorts of ambiguity around who's going to be calling the shots. And a lot of people say this about Green Bay too. They're so consistent. They've been in the conversation for practically 30 years. They go from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love. They don't have an owner screwing things up. He was able to do a full and complete rebuild without conviction from someone ahead of him in the corporate hierarchy. And maybe it speaks to that.
They also got the right guy, right? Like, Mike McDonald was the perfect coach for this team. And I'm betting Baltimore's looking around being like, damn, we should have had him, and gotten rid of Harbaugh.
Can I also just mention, speaking of the owner, what a feel-good moment it is when they hand the owner the trophy first after the Super Bowl win. It's so emotional.
It's so great. I love it.
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
The players, they put their bodies on the line week after week, day after day, and you hand that trophy to the owner first, and you hear from her. It's just it's a moment that just can't be replicated.
You know what's so great is because me sitting at home as a fan, giving my money that hurts to this franchise, I know that billionaire is going to be able to say pretty quickly that I'm the best fan in the world.
Yep. I love, someone
resonates.
Someone who I would never know their name and wouldn't recognize them if they smacked me in the face. I love that she gets to hold the trophy first.
And
it's a beautiful moment in sports when the owner gets it.
Best fan in the world.
Yeah, love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
The Sam Darnold story's crazy. You don't get to be discarded by 5 teams. Nobody believes that you're actually somebody who's a Super Bowl champion, and now you have more titles than the combination of Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Dan Marino.
Better story. Kurt Warner or Sam Darnold?
Kurt Warner's a better story because you went from being unemployed.
Thanks for undercutting that, Tony.
You were.
It's not remotely.
Do you want me to join Jeremy or
it's not remotely close?
He was a bag boy.
He was stocking grocery shelves.
He wasn't supposed to be the starter.
Okay, and Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts and was an absolute garbage man.
No.
Darnold's not the best redemption story.
Not a literal
It's
garbage
Kurt
man.
Warner.
Darnold's not the best redemption story. Best redemption story is John Elway. Like, Elway had all of the hype. He was the greatest. He was supposed to be the greatest talent of all time. Drafted #1 overall, gets killed in his first 3 Super Bowls, and then a decade later finally wins one.
Yeah, but he was always awesome.
Yeah, but he was always the #1 pick who could have played baseball or football. Kurt Warner was stocking shelves.
That's right. He wasn't the quarterback at Stanford or USC. He was stocking shelves after a stint in the Arena League.
But I'm talking about redemption story.
He went to was it Upper Iowa?
Can you find for me, please, Roy, some of the details? I just want to get the details right on Kurt Warner's story because we do get forgetful here, prisoner of the moment. I just want the name of the grocery store. I want, like, what he was paid. I'm sure because this was written about a great deal, I'm sure it's been reported what the details of Kurt Warner were. But Zaz makes also an important point. That very year that they were the greatest show on turf, one of the best offenses of all time, Trent Green was supposed to be the starting quarterback and got injured in the preseason. Otherwise, Trent Green would have been, because that was Marshall Faulk and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. Like, they would have had that offense.
Yeah, he was looking good in the preseason.
No,
Trent Green, that would have been his moment.
Trent Green would have been Kurt Warner if he had not gotten hurt that postseason. And you know what my proof is? They did it with somebody who was stocking shelves.
Dick Vermeil was crying.
Yeah, you'd cry too if you had to go to a grocery store and get a guy who's in an apron and he's like, come on out of here. I got the greatest show on turf. Trent Green is hurt. You can be the greatest offense in the sport and the greatest redemption story of all time. Why, Zaslow, are you having trouble with the word redemption? Like, why is it that you're not giving Kurt Warner the redemption story that you're giving Sam Darnold?
How was he redeemed?
Sam Darnold got 5 chances from 5 teams who knew he had a pro skill set. Kurt Warner got 1 because he was bagging groceries.
Sam Darnold came from being all the way down to all the way. That's redemption. Kurt Warner just literally came out of nowhere with immediate success. That's not redemption.
The entire league did not want him before that. He wasn't bagging groceries because he had a lot of full-time NFL offers.
Here's how it would go for them to have the same level of adversity. Sam Darnold on his 6th stop was told, I don't think this sport is for you. And then he can't find work. And then he has to stock a grocery shelf because he has to provide for a family and he doesn't have a job anymore.
I disagree. Kurt Warner found success immediately in the NFL.
All right, Roy, I want some details on this, but I'm just going to, just so that you understand why Sam Darnold's not allowed to be this. Kurt Warner was taking his right arm and putting pinto beans on the shelf. And they said, okay, you run the greatest show on turf. And then he came in, and that is what redemption looks and feels and sounds like.
It was a Hy-Vee grocery store in Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Do we know anything about whether he was actually stocking the shelves and bagging groceries? Because that once I was promoted, when I started as a bag boy at Publix, and then I was promoted to stocking the
hire
shelves.
from within.
But when on busy days,
That's how shopping becomes a pleasure.
Yep.
on the busiest days, I would have to go back and then also bag groceries after being promoted.
Versatile of you.
Well, because we were understaffed, and they had to
can-do attitude.
all hands on deck. Yeah,
You know what you did? You made a way.
He stocked shelves and faced products for $5.50 an hour on a night shift, by the way.
You guys, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. If someone wins the Super Bowl in their very first year in the NFL, that's not redemption. It's immediate success. It's a success story.
No one wanted him before that, though.
Okay.
Like, he was available to every team, and he wasn't going to be the starter. Like Sam
We're getting
Darnold.
bogged down.
And you have to understand, like, there was a whole final act for Kurt Warner in which the entire
went back
league
to the Super
once
Bowl.
again didn't want him, and he was like Matt Leinert's backup in Arizona, and he took the Arizona flipping Cardinals
Yeah,
to the
'cause
Super Bowl.
he was awesome. That's why.
Put it on the poll, please. More of a redemption story: Sam Darnold or Kurt Warner.
John Elway was
and
on there.
put parenthetically Kurt Warner, former bag boy, just to load the poll weighted in our direction. I like Chris Cody sort of throwing over his shoulder. I feel like we're getting bogged down here. Yes, of course.
They made a movie about it.
Of course we are. Well,
They
but
made a movie.
Because it's a great story.
They're not making a movie
Check
about
in
Sam
Warner's
Darnold.
box.
They're not making a movie about Sam Darnold.
they may. They may.
Nah, I feel confident in this. No movie, maybe a documentary.
Gingers are never the lead.
They're not giving Sam Darnold the lead. He's got to be way more interesting.
Not a real ginger, by the way.
Wait,
Why
what?
not?
Not a purebred.
What do you mean?
You don't get to make this decision. I do.
I know what he means.
Thank you.
His skin is fine.
What is that? Hold on.
Can
What
you
is that?
elaborate?
He doesn't need the
have
same kind
freckles.
of sunblock.
He's got an orange. These orange beard guys, they're not gingers.
Yeah,
okay?
he's just a redhead. He's not a ginger.
Yeah.
I get him. Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
Can you elaborate though?
I just
'Cause
did.
I
He
know-
did.
And
He
the
spoke
number
to
one
it.
rule is you don't get to decide. I do.
He does. It's the freckles. It's the SPF on your face. It's when I go outside, I need a long sleeve shirt. That's what
He
he's
takes
talking
his
about.
shirt off very
No,
confidently.
he's pretty pale though. I think.
Telling you.
He's just a white with red hair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, put it on the
He's a
poll
half.
at Le Batard Show. Is Sam Darnold a true ginger, or is he just a white with red hair?
Were you arguing this yesterday at your party?
You don't want to know.
Who were you arguing against?
The
Who
old,
had
the
other
old
side?
whites.
Yeah.
The old white.
They were already up in arms because they didn't like the
Hold your
halftime
position.
show.
You're right. He doesn't go through the same kind of adversity that you do.
I was bullied way more than him.
How did your father's gourmet meal go over? Was he pleased? Because I'm looking at the screen here, and he's pale. He's the kind of pale.
He's got freckles all over his neck.
He doesn't.
I don't
He's
see
just
all
freckles.
over his
He's
neck.
just
You want to
white.
see all over?
He's just white.
Oh,
No,
Look at my elbow.
I don't want to see all over.
I'll
with
look at your elbow.
While you guys are getting frustrated by my constant need for elaboration here, I still don't feel like this has been accurately tackled, and I believe we're the show in America who is doing this correctly today. So I'd like to go from being stuck in the mud on the redemption stories of Sam Darnold and Kurt Warner, because it's very difficult to talk about where
You want to know a
place
real
Sam
ginger?
Darnold.
Do you want to know a real ginger? I do. Andy Dalton.
Okay.
That's a purebred.
Okay.
That guy gets it. That guy, you look at his arms, that's a ginger. Let me see Sam Darnold's arms.
So it's freckles? So it's freckles.
But it's the whole package.
Okay, but his package
It's just
is
you
pale.
see it and you're
Whole
like,
package?
ginger or not ginger?
His package is pale, and I imagine it could have freckles. If his package had freckles, would you nominate it? Would it? If I told you,
You think my package has freckles?
yes, I believe that the freckles are all over. I believe that's part of what we're doing here. Yes, I believe.
Now
you're,
there's a
yes,
ginger.
I believe.
Look at that
I
thing.
don't see the difference. It's a little.
What? You don't see the difference? Put the side by side.
Put them next to each other, and you tell me who's paler. You tell me who's
even
skin.
pale. That's just a different conversation.
No, it's
Pale.
not. That's part of the origin. It's put them next to each other.
What am I talking to?
Okay.
I think we're getting bogged
He
down.
just doesn't get it.
You're the expert.
I have a list of people that you can make a ruling on.
All right.
All right. Mark McGuire.
Purebred.
Nicole Kidman.
She's English.
Australian.
so pale.
She's Australian.
She's Australian.
Pale doesn't have anything to do. He says,
I think she's just a lady with red hair.
Yeah, but not a purebred.
Emma Stone.
Purebred. Nope, I take that back.
Wait, what?
I need to see her arms.
Delonte West. You can get back to it.
Yeah. Andy Dalton is my number one right now.
Well, you keep saying number one, but when they get up on the screen, Darnold next to Andy Dalton.
Reba McEntire.
I think she dyes that thing.
She dyes that thing?
What thing?
Dyes that
Her
thing.
hair?
Ed Sheeran.
Oh, that's a purebred right there. Andy Dalton, Ed Sheeran. That's my poker hand.
Is this lighting on the screen when they flip back and forth?
Dan, that is just clearly ginger, fake ginger. Ginger, fake ginger. I mean, it's just like night and day here.
Yeah.
Look, I will grant you that Andy Dalton's head is redder than Sam Darnold's head, but his beard is not redder than Sam Darnold's beard. And you're doing this
more than a beard
on hair. Yeah, but skin. Andy Dalton has more tan than Sam Darnold does.
Prince Harry.
Oh, he's like an 8.
Sam Darnold's practically on the albino spectrum.
So
I didn't know that he was albino.
You're focusing too much on skin, dude. Like, if you really look at me, I'm not even, like, look at my arms. My arms are, I know it's bad lighting. I'm not that pale. Like,
what about Cynthia Nixon?
I don't think you're going to
7.8.
I don't think you're going to do better than Delonte West. I think that's the best you're going to do in terms of getting the awkward silence you crave.
Still waiting on a ruling.
He has kind of abstained on that one, huh? Like, did you guys notice that all of a sudden the guy who wanted to be consulted on all these things?
Are you familiar with the internet conversation?
Yeah, he's having some issues right now.
No,
not
that.
I'm talking about
Just
gingers.
Like the
Gingers.
Ginger black adjacent
Yes,
stuff
that's true.
that's out there.
I'm black.
I'm sorry?
That's what I've heard.
Oh.
Blake Griffin?
Not pure.
What?
What?
He's got the freckles. He's got the whole thing. He's got to wear SPF.
He's not
He's
pale.
moving the goalpost, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Now, Dan's
You
moving
said
the
it has
goalpost.
nothing to do with paleness. You said it has
He's
nothing
like a
to do with
6.3.
skin.
What? Man.
More than half.
9 out of 10, but you know what? This is your plight.
All of a sudden, he doesn't want to be the ruler. He wanted to be the ginger ruler a second ago, and then he gets put in the position to ginger rule, and he says, I don't want Delonte West. And then he says he's been having problems recently. He just leaves that out there for. No, I know.
It's been like 15 years.
It's been a long time. It hasn't been just recently.
Not just a new thing.
That's not what we were talking about, though. We were isolating simply pure ginger or not pure ginger. You said you get to decide. So I throw it to you, and what do? You abstain immediately.
I'm going to have to, like, think. I can't just. I got to do research on this stuff. I don't.
You had no problem doing it with Darnold and Dalton.
Well, because I've done those. I've done the research for that.
Where, Zaslow, like, honestly, this is going to be a very difficult thing to measure. Where are we going to classify Sam Darnold as quarterback for all times? Because when you get one of these, basically, let's play word association. If I say Brad Johnson or Trent Dilfer, there's one thing you think of. Yeah, he won it one year. It's not the rest of it. It's just, yeah, he won it once. And Sam Darnold now has a resume over the last 38 games. It's not a small sample. It's more than Drake May has played. Over the last 38 games, Sam Darnold has done more winning than anybody.
There's now a pretty fair chance that Sam Darnold is going to be in the Hall of Fame one day.
No.
No way.
No.
There's a fair chance. Dan, he's only been in the league for 7 years. He's got a lot of career left, and he just won a Super Bowl. There's a fair chance that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I'm with you.
No.
Right now.
I can't
If you were to
do that
project,
with you
he's got a
guys.
shot.
I did that purposely. I just put him with Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer as one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. And look, I'm not actually discrediting the fact that he's 31-7 over the last 38 games, but he's not the Super Bowl MVP and shouldn't be. Like, he's not the reason. He's the reason they won that Rams game. And they needed to win that Rams game, and he's the reason they won that Rams game. But he's not the reason they won the Super Bowl.
So if Sam Darnold, you're saying, Zaz, is a Hall of Famer because of the projection of what's going forward and what he's done recently, do you not put Jalen Hurts in that same class, who basically kind of has identical stats to Sam Darnold the last couple of years, Super Bowl MVP?
There's a fair chance that Jalen Hurts will be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying there's a great chance. There's a fair chance, yeah.
I don't believe so. Now, I understand that winning gets assigned to quarterbacks, even though it's not a quarterback stat, because it's not, okay? Sam Darnold's not a better quarterback than Drake May. He's not. He's won more the last 2 years. He's not better than Drake May. He's not going to be better than Drake May. He's not. If I gave Drake May what it is that Sam Darnold had, he would have won by a lot more yesterday than Sam Darnold won. Sam Darnold's not the reason they won that game. He is the reason they didn't lose that game because he's the only way they could have lost that game. Like, he's legitimately the only way they could have lost that game.
I agree that Drake May is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, but I'm not willing to say it as defiant as you are. Like, we would have been saying this about C.J. Stroud a couple of years ago as well. Heck, are we 100% sure on Jaden Daniels? Like, yeah, I think Drake May is better than Sam Darnold, but I'm not 1,000% sure like you appear to be.
I think it was made pretty evident in everything that happened yesterday whose supporting cast was better. Of this, we will get no dispute. And Sam Darnold played quarterback better yesterday because there were plenty of times he was pressured also, and he didn't actually make the mistake he makes customarily. But he led the league in turnovers. Like, I'm not making that stat up.
Sports, man. This is great. Keep it going. I like this. This is a good debate. An old-fashioned sports debate broke out on the sports radio show. What's happening?
I'm telling you, I know guys like this. If you ask Sam Darnold, he would say, "I'm not a ginger."
Yeah, he would.
These guys, they don't want. You don't want this smoke.
No,
you don't. These guys don't want to be ginger.
What Andy Dalton says he's a ginger.
1,000% Andy Dalton would say he's a ginger.
What would Delonte West say?
He would say no. I don't think he. Like, I'm being honest. I think if you say, "Are you a ginger?" he would be like, "No."
What about Blake Griffin?
I think he would be closer to saying yes than West.
Is it the freckles? It's the freckles then.
It's a combination, Dan. It's just it's kind of like a porn thing.
You know it when you see it. But I've got to consult with you. I don't know it when I see it.
People
but
are
you
wrong
know
often.
It when you see it. Well,
like unlike porn, other people are just like, "Oh, ginger," and you see a little red, and you get so like, "Oh, pale, freckles, ginger," and like, no.
One thing's for certain. You do not have the authority
Zagak.
to tell Chris who is ginger and who is not.
Zagak.
His plight.
I know. I just want definitive rulings from him on
Not
what it
definitive,
is.
Dan.
It's
life.
not his
It's called
job
life.
to be what you need.
I believe it is. As an executive producer
But not
of the
as
show,
a
it's
ginger.
almost by definition
Yes,
his
by
job.
occupation, but not by race.
But-
and this is where you're playing with fire.
How do you know
How'd that get in there?
That's how I feel right now.
How do you know
I do. I know.
the definition of redemption? The action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. So obviously we're talking about being saved from error, okay? John Elway was saved from error. He was 0-3 in the Super Bowl. He was going to be known as a loser. If Kurt Warner never won the Super Bowl with the Rams, no one would ever know who he was. He would not be known as some kind of failure. That's what makes Elway a redemption story. Warner is just a great story. He didn't redeem himself from anything.
Yes, he did. The league chewed him up and spit him out.
Juju.
He had the opportunity in New York, and they kicked him out of town.
He was already a Super Bowl champion at that point.
Right, but you're saying, like, he didn't have that going for him, and he did.
Oh,
It
so
just
you're
happened
talking about
after
his
the
redemption
Super Bowl.
story
I'm
came in
saying
Arizona?
His whole career. His career as a whole.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. Is stocking grocery shelves filled with sin, error, and evil? Because I believe, like the Phoenix Rising, Kurt Warner came from the very bottom rungs of places that Sam Darnold has never and will never have to live because he was a top 5 pick. And he did play for 5 teams, and I do believe that a whole lot of people are going to have trouble with whatever it is this looks like next, because we're about to go to the – you do realize, guys, right? Sam Darnold is going to take over Joe Flacco's place on is Sam Darnold elite when we debate these things on television. Like, that there is finally – somebody who comes for the crown of let's argue about whether this person is actually elite or not, even though we know they're not, but they've won a championship, and so they've done things that are demanded that we turn it into a question. You do realize this is the closest thing that we've had since Joe Flacco, because it's like, he's not one of the best. He's clearly not one of the best quarterbacks. Maybe I'd put him at the bottom half of the top 10. However, he's won, and I must give him credit, so I will merely ask the question if he's elite, thus proving he is not. Because you don't have to ask it about the elite.
Michael Fassbender.
Nah, he's a Sam Darnold.
Carrot Top.
Natural. Carrot Tops. Yeah. The good stuff.
Well, but what do you mean natural? Like, what is natural?
It's just every part of it. Every part of it. The skin, the freckles, the hair.
But nobody here's faking it. Like, natural. There's no one here. There's not
purebred. My bad. Pure.
Pure. versus imposter, because you're identifying Sam Darnold as an imposter ginger. Put that on the poll as well, Juju.
Sam Darnold's got like probably a grandma with red hair.
Yeah.
Like this is not a mom or dad situation.
What you're saying is your culture is not his costume.
Zagak. I think that might be what it have to do with it. Like Sam Darnold seems like a grandpa had red hair, and it got down to him through
Dick
some
Hammer.
people.
Did he have red hair?
Whereas like me, it's like my mom, Ginger, she gave it right to me. Pure.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is Sam Darnold an imposter ginger? And also, where's Dick Hammer?
Let me see what he looked like in his 20s.
Last week in Super Bowl week coverage, the only contribution that you had creatively was to deny that you had any responsibility for that sound of Dick Hammer haunting our show.
Scalabrini.
Dick Hammer was trying to, that's a peer. Dick Hammer was trying to tell us something all week, that the Seahawks were onto something.
But look at Dick Hammer right here. You have the original.
It must have been his wife. Like his grandma. Grandma Hammer. Grammar. I'm telling you, it's not a parent. Show me Sam Darnold's parents. I guarantee you there's not a ginger there.
It's not a grandparent either from the photo
That's
we
just
just
grandpa.
saw.
We got
Dick
three other
Hammer.
options.
But so you're saying that he refers to his grandma as grammar because it's Grandma Hammer, and you combine the two, and so you're saying that
David Caruso.
I gotta look him up.
The dude from CSI Miami that would walk away from explosions.
Oh yeah, that's a peer.
You referred to him as the guy from CSI, not from NYPD Blue?
I could tell that he didn't know who David Caruso was.
King of New York.
Yeah.
Conan.
Jade.
Conan's a peer.
Jade's a good movie.
He's
Twins.
So cool.
Mike, that is an amazing radar you have for insecurities in our group that you were able to see from looking at the back of Chris's head that he had no idea who David Caruso was. That whatever it is that's happening in terms of where it is he tries to mask his insecurity under all that red hair and freckles he's got on the back of his neck,
Bully.
you could see he had no idea who Caruso is.
Folks, listen up. The NBA's biggest stars deliver the biggest moments. And with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting parlay of the NBA, you can get right in the middle of it. And DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down anytime in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DAN. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code DAN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.